my God, I hate my life. A really cute boy just walked by my window and made eye contact with me filming this. So that's totally fine. I hate it here. I hit 2 big milestones today. It's been exactly 2 years since I created this channel and I hit my 2023 reading goal on Goodreads. So let's chat about books and life. It's been a really long time since we caught up, you and I. You guys might not remember who I am. I hope all of you are doing well because I know that I am. My name is Sonia and I really like to read. I used to make videos about it a lot. Then I had a really hard time reading and then I made no videos about it at all. And I've fallen in love with reading again. I've read a lot this year. I have officially read 52 books as of today, which was my reading goal for all of 2023. So I'm feeling pretty pleased with myself. And before you get ahead of yourself, I didn't read any of these. I did not touch any of the Wheel of Time books. We're reading more Cassandra Clare, Zodiac Academy. So I graduated from college. Congratulations to me. I'm feeling pretty pleased with myself. That was pretty hard. And now that I'm done, I have no interest in doing things that are hard, like reading hard books. So I started off the year reading the Crescent City series by Sarah J. Maas. I've read everything by her at this point, which is like crazy. I read Throne of Glass last year and I listened to the whole thing on audiobook. I could not tell you a single detail. I mean, like, no, I can like tell you the plot, but like, I can't remember what happened in which books. It was just like haze. I hadn't finished A Court of Silver Flames because I was like, I hate Nesta. So I hadn't read that. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna read both Crescent City books. I'm going to read A Court of Silver Flames. I'm just gonna round out the universe, right? It's like super mindless. I read it on vacation. Like, it was easy, it was great. Then I read the Cruel Prince series. Once again, not a single detail stuff. It's a political fantasy with like enemies to lovers undertones. The political aspect of it is so, I don't wanna say juvenile, but like also juvenile. Then I reread everything in this series, the Last Hour series. If you guys will remember, Chain of Iron was my favorite book of all time. And then Chain of Thorns came out and it was beautiful and I loved it. So I reread this whole series. And then I started reading the Zodiac Academy. I read the first 4 books in less than a week. What a ridiculous thrill. So crazy. I was like, okay, that's great, but I want to read more Cassandra Clare. So I reread The Infernal Devices, which was amazing as always. The fact that Ed Westwick narrates the second one on Audible, oh my God. It's Chuck Bass. Hellbent by Leigh Bardugo came out. Read this, thought it was okay. Like, I wasn't super in love with it. Like, I like the dark academia vibes, but like it didn't get me going. I read Red Queen. Love Victoria Aveyard's TikToks. Was not a super huge fan of the writing. Read not 1, not 2, but 3 Ice Planet Barbarians books. Absolutely unhinged. Read the first 2 City of Brass books. I don't know why the 3rd one didn't grip me, but like it was pretty okay. I read Icebreaker. What a romance. Very graphic. Listening to that audiobook while walking around in public, criminal, but like pretty good. Then I read Fourth Wing and I picked this up on my birthday. I was at a bookstore, obviously, and I saw this sprayed edit like with the little dragons and I was like, you know who really likes pretty books? Me. So I got it just because I thought the little dragons were cute. Like, I hadn't seen anything on TikTok about it. I just saw this and was like, feels pretty good. Read it, loved it, recommended it to all of my friends, and then it was sold out everywhere because it started blowing up on TikTok and everyone was like, this is the best book ever. Yeah, it was pretty good. Like, I really liked it. I had a lot of fun. Afterwards, like talking about it with other people, like, do I think that this is masterfully written? No, but it's so much fun. Yeah, it's YA dialogue. Some of my friends were like, I totally saw the plot twist coming. Girl boss me too, but like whatever, it was still kind of cute. I thought it was really fun. I gave it 5 stars. But then afterwards, I was in this big book hangover because I was like, what could ever measure up to the joy that this gave me? So I read The Serpents and the Wings of the Night. I'd heard that like the vibes are similar. Straight up, you're lying. I really didn't like that book. Other people do. I don't know what about it made me upset the whole time I was reading. I just didn't like the characters. I didn't like the world. I didn't fuck with any of it. Then I reread The Lies of La Camorra because I was like, I need to read something that has a really good plot. Coming out of The Serpent and the Wings of the Night, I was like, nobody save me. It fed my soul. It was so good. I had forgotten a lot of the like small details and like how the whole scheme is put together. For those of you who don't know, imagine Ocean's 11, but set in Venice plus magic. It's so good, so well plotted out, like so intricately done. The world is beautifully built. I think it's great. 5 stars the first time I read it, 5 stars this time. Yellowface by R.F. Kuang sent me for the biggest loop ever. I loved it, but it was like such a wild ride. I don't know who to root for. I kind of hate everyone, but actually, do I just hate myself? It was a very, very stark difference to the other stuff that I read, but like, I'm so glad that I did read it. Wow, that was an intense one. And so I followed that up with one of the Bridgerton books. I haven't read the ones that they adapted for Netflix because I've heard that the show is just better. This year, I picked up To Sir Philip with Love, which is Eloise's story. Is it super well written? No. But is it fun? Yes, I love a period piece. I love pretending I'm romping around in the English countryside, so I thought this was stellar. Then I read Beach Read, which I thought was okay. Like, I finished it, which is a testament. I tried to read Book Lovers later and I didn't finish it because I was just like, I don't know, it felt like the exact same thing. Probably like a me problem. Like, I can read the same fantasy plot over and over again and be like, oh my god, this was the best. But like, when it happens with contemporary romance, I'm like, that's kind of cheap, girl. So like, definitely a me problem. Read The Maid, super cute, loved it. So adorable. Read Jade City, very grown-up vibes, very grown-up. I read this on vacation with my family and I was like kind of stressed, and then reading this book about like gang wars, and I was like, this is not the relaxing beach time that I really need right now. Maybe I would have liked it better if I wasn't aggressively trying to relax while reading it, but like, glad I read it. Like, pretty good. I'll read the second one for sure, but like, it's not like super high on my TBR. I want to finish the series. It's a completed trilogy. That is a rare commodity. I read Pineapple Street by Jenny Jackson. Very cute, very gossip girl. Loved that. Read Scythe by Neal Shusterman for the first time. I liked it very much like dystopian mid-2000s, definitely of its era. I liked it enough to finish it, but I really felt like they put a pretty good bow on it. There's 2 more books, and I don't really feel the need to revisit this world. Like, I feel like it was pretty well wrapped up for me. I liked it. I think I gave the book 4 stars. I don't think I'm gonna read the rest of them. Then my best friend was like, hey, have you gotten TikToks for Divine Rivals? And I was like, no, actually, not even a tiny, teeny weeny bit. So I looked it up. Set in a magical war, giving rural England vibes. Let's go. Got the audiobook and tore through it. Oh my god, I read it in maybe 4 hours. Just like listening to it. I did a deep clean of my whole apartment that day, and I was just in a trance, like crying while cleaning my table. Like, it was insane. I loved this book. The romance and war vibes of atonement mixed with all the light we cannot see, and then the like British magic of Narnia, and also the war vibes of Narnia, then also the enemies to lovers of Real Prince a little bit. So good. I was sobbing. It was incredible. Probably my favorite book that I read this year because I was just so surprised by it. Like, I didn't know what it was about. I had absolutely no idea what I was getting into, and every second was so fun. And then you say, well, what have you been reading recently? This last week, little old me was feeling the book hangover from Divine Rivals. So what have I been reading? That's right, I've been rereading the City of Bones series in less than a week. I have read 4 of them, and they're not good. Oh, they're not good. Compared to this Cassandra Clare, City of Bones is, how do you say? Oh yes, garbage. It's so bad, but I love it. It's just so fun. I haven't reread this part of Cassandra Clare's work since I read it the first time. I've never reread it. I've reread The Infernal Devices multiple times. I've read this whole series twice, but I've never re-looked at The Mortal Instruments because I kind of knew in the depth of my soul that it was like not that great. I was so right. Me? Super duper right. The plot's so weird. The like writing is not awesome. Everyone is padding across every room they enter, which is fine. They're letting out breaths they didn't know they were holding. It's okay. But it's just fun to be in this world and to gallivant around the Shadowhunter universe with characters that I haven't been around in a really long time. I don't necessarily love Clare and Jace, probably because Jace has blonde hair and I would murder myself for a brunette with curly hair. That's all I have to say about that. That brought me to all my books for this year. So I've cheated my Goodreads to show me my 2023 year in books, even though 2023 isn't done yet. This year, I have read 25,303 pages, 52 books. So that means the books I've been reading have been very, very short. Typically I read around 40,000 pages per year. So like, I'm not reading more than I've read other years. It's more that I'm just like reading shorter stuff because I'm not touching the wheel of time. The shortest book I read was Ice Planet Barbarians. The longest book was Cursed Fates in the Zodiac Academy series. That's so funny. Oh, before, the longest book that I'd read was Manacled. Right, I also read Manacled by Sen Lin Yu this year. What a thrill. I found the audiobook on Spotify. It's not an official audiobook because obviously, but like a fan narrated it and I really liked it, but it stopped like 2/3 of the way in. So I had to read the last third of Manacled with my eyeballs, which was kind of hard, also worth it. It was good. Like, I'm pretty glad I read it. I had a good time. That used to be the longest book that I had read this year. But turns out the Zodiac Academy book 5 looks like it was the longest thing I read. Average book length, 486 pages. I've also read other stuff. I've read a lot of nonfiction for work. I'm always reading nonfiction, which is like what padded the numbers. Obviously, I didn't talk about 52 books with you guys just now. I just feel really lucky to have fallen back in love with reading. It's something that brings me so much peace and joy, and also joy that I can share with others, talking about books that I love with people who also love them. I just really enjoy it, and I'm so grateful for the people with whom I can talk about books. I'm really grateful that I can talk to you guys about books again. On the TBR right now is finishing the Mortal Instruments series, which like honestly probably won't take longer than a week. Who knows? I'm thinking about reading Caraval, but I know that I'll hate it, so like I don't really know if it's a fair fight. Maybe I'll look at the Wheel of Time again. Let me talk about some DNFs really fast. I started to read The Blade itself, but it was a little scary for me, so maybe I'll be brave and I'll finish that. I also started The Priory of the Orange Tree, right? I bought the brick, but then the language was a little bit too much, like, oh, we're off though. And there's like a lot of ships, and I don't really like pirate books. The second Lives of Locke Lamora book really scarred me, so I've currently DNF'd these two, but maybe I'll give them some love once I finish the Mortal Instruments. I don't really know, but I'm just really excited to be reading again. So thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you guys next time.